The sun hung heavy in the African sky, an unforgiving furnace suspended above a land of dust, sweat, and survival. Every blade of dry grass seemed to shimmer in the scorching heat, every breath carried the weight of drought, and every living creature moved with the cautious precision of one who knew that life here teetered constantly on the edge of death. The parched earth cracked like broken clay pots beneath the weight of countless paws, hooves, and claws. Yet on this day, near the muddy remains of a shrinking river, life was not merely enduring, it was on the cusp of a storm unlike any other. Dust devils twisted across the open plains, and then tearing through the silence came a roar. Not the familiar rumble of a lion staking its claim, not the distant trumpeting of an elephant mourning or warning. No, this was something deeper, rawer, primal. It was the voice of Congo, the silverback gorilla, a titan whose massive form embodied both the power and mystery of the wild. His roar was laced not with dominance but with desperation, a guttural cry that rattled through the marrow of the savanna. His intelligent brown eyes, usually filled with quiet wisdom, now widened with the terror of a soul staring into the abyss. For wrapped around him, in coils that glistened like molten bronze in the blazing light, was death itself, an African rock python, monstrous and unyielding, each scale pressed into his flesh, each loop drawing the life from his lungs. Congo strained, his colossal muscles surging beneath his fur, every fiber of his being straining against the living vice. Yet every movement only invited greater constriction, every lunge only fed the serpent's ancient instinct. He was the mountain of the jungle, yet he found himself powerless, his mighty chest crushed in a relentless embrace. And as the muddy bank shifted beneath them, the river, usually a sanctuary, became a stage of agony. The scene unfolded as if time itself slowed, like nature wanted the world to bear witness to this trial. For the whole creation groans and suffers the pains of childbirth together until now. The earth groaned with him, as though even the soil could feel his torment. From the shadow of the scattered acacia trees, another presence stirred. 4 lions, golden-maned kings of the savanna, emerged into the haze. Their silhouettes were carved against the horizon like living statues of judgment. They were rulers of this territory, predators feared by all, yet on this day their eyes were not fixed upon prey. Instead, their gaze fell upon Congo, locked in battle with the serpent. Their steps slowed, their muscles tensed, but their jaws did not open for the hunt. Instead, they watched. The scarred leader of the pride, his mane dark as burnt umber, shifted with unease, a low growl reverberating from his chest. But it was not hunger. It was recognition, a deep, unspoken acknowledgement of the struggle playing out before them. The python was no threat to them, no prize of flesh worth fighting for, yet they did not turn away. They lingered as though tethered to the gorilla's plight, held captive by a drama that transcended the usual laws of predator and prey. The air hung thick with tension, a holy silence before a storm. Congo's breaths grew shallow, his lips foaming with the bitter taste of defeat. His mighty arms trembled, his vision blurred. Death pressed tighter inch by merciless inch. And in that moment the lions did not see a rival, nor a creature outside their realm. They saw suffering, they saw struggle, they saw the mirror of life itself fighting against the crushing inevitability of darkness. The righteous care for the needs of their animals, but the kindest acts of the wicked are cruel. Perhaps this verse whispered into the savanna winds, perhaps it stirred in the heart of the scarred lion. For when Congo's head began to droop and the python's dominance seemed absolute, the lion moved, one paw forward then another. His pride followed, slow and deliberate, their golden eyes gleaming not with bloodlust but with an ancient fire, as though answering a silent plea from creation itself. What happened next defied the very script of nature. With a thunderous roar that cracked the silence of the plains, the 4 lions lunged not at the gorilla but at the python. Dust erupted beneath their pounding paws as muscle and mane blurred into a storm of fury. Their attack was not of hunger, not of rivalry, but of intervention. Their jaws clamped down on the serpent's armored body, claws tore into bronze scales, and the python hissed in shock, its coils faltering for the first time. Congo gasped, his crushed chest struggling to inflate with air, but the serpent's outer loops still bound him. The lions pressed harder, their roars a symphony of defiance against death itself. The python thrashed violently, its massive body slamming against the ground, its tail whipping like a whip-crack of thunder, yet the pride held fast. Teeth dug deeper, claws raked harder, the weight of 4 apex predators overwhelming even this ancient hunter. The earth trembled beneath the chaos, roars, hisses, the pounding of paws and the desperate gasp of a gorilla on the edge. And then a moment, the coils slackened. Congo collapsed onto the mud, gasping air that burned his lungs yet fed his life. His vision blurred, but in the haze he saw golden manes and tawny bodies standing over him, not as enemies but as guardians. The lions ripped once more, decisive, final. The python, that engine of suffocation, lay shattered, its life extinguished. Silence fell, broken only by Congo's ragged breath and the heavy panting of the lions. They stood above the fallen serpent, not triumphant hunters but sentinels of something greater, a reminder that even in the harshest lands, life can choose compassion over cruelty. The wolf will live with the lamb, the leopard will lie down with the goat, the calf and the lion and the yearling together, and a little child will lead them. On this day, even lions had chosen mercy. Congo stirred. His body trembled, every muscle screaming with exhaustion, but his soul burned with something he could not name. Gratitude, or perhaps both. He rose slowly, his massive frame silhouetted against the fading sun. His brown eyes followed the lions as they turned away, their task complete. They did not linger, did not seek dominance over him or celebration in their act. They simply walked back into the shimmering heat, their manes glowing like crowns of fire in the setting light, their forms fading into myth. Congo stood alone now, yet not alone, for in his chest beat the memory of what had transpired, a moment when kings of the savanna had answered the cry of another, a moment when strength had not been turned to destruction, but to deliverance, a moment when the walls of species had crumbled before the universal truth of struggle and compassion. He lifted his head and released a roar, not of rage, not of despair, but of life, a roar that echoed across the plains, rising like a prayer into the endless sky. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. On this day, the savanna had remembered love. On this day, humanity could learn from the wild. And as Congo limped toward the river to drink the water of survival, the earth itself seemed to sigh, knowing that the story told here would live forever. A viral YouTube story not just of animal rescue, not just a touching animal story, but of the bond that connects all life. A heartwarming animal video written by the hands of nature itself. A dramatic wildlife rescue where the miracle was not in one being saved, but in many choosing to save. And in that there was hope for Congo, for lions, for us all. A profound understanding passed between species in that fleeting moment on the savanna. This wasn't merely a rescue. It was something far greater, something that pulsed beneath the skin of instinct and survival. It was vulnerability, raw and unfiltered, answered not with cruelty but with courage. It was heroism that defied the order of predator and prey, as if the very laws of nature paused to reveal a truth hidden in plain sight, that all life is bound by an invisible thread of connection. What the lions did for Congo was not just unexpected, it was revolutionary. It whispered of a truth deeper than fear, stronger than hierarchy, a truth that every heart, human or animal, yearns to believe. Two are better than one because they have a good reward for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. In that sacred instant, one species helped another rise, and the savanna itself seemed to exhale in wonder. We as humans so often misjudge. We look at the lion and see only a hunter, at the gorilla and see only brute force, at the python and see only silent death. We paint in absolutes, categorize into roles: predator, prey, solitary, social, strong, weak. Yet nature, the wild heartbeat of this earth, has always been far more complex, far more nuanced than our rigid definitions allow. What happened on that riverbank was more than a viral YouTube story, more than an animal rescue or a heartwarming animal video. It was a mirror, a reflection reminding us that perhaps we too misjudge each other. Perhaps where we expect only conflict, there lies the possibility of compassion. Perhaps in the eyes of those we fear, there flickers a chance for connection. The wolf shall dwell with the lamb and a little child shall lead them. The lions and the gorilla embodied this prophecy, showing that unity is not a myth but a living force. Think of other moments when the wild revealed its soul: the elephant tusk gently lifting a fallen fawn, a dolphin guiding a drowning human to shore, a leopard sharing space instead of striking. These are not isolated incidents, not accidents of chance. They are glimpses into a deeper current that flows through all living thing.